Chapter 1. You are mine now. The gunshot is so loud it steals the air from his lungs. Glass explodes. Someone screams. He feels the impact before he understands it. A hard body slamming into him, the taste of marble dust in his mouth, the floor cold against his cheek. Hands clamp around his shoulders. Thrown. Steady. The Alpha. Don't move. His heart is trying to tear itself out of his chest. His ears ring. He smells blood. Burnt powder. Alpha pheromones, sharp and commanding, flooding the space. Another shot. Closer. He curls inward, arms over his head, breath coming out in broken sounds. I said don't move, the Alpha snaps, dragging him tighter behind the pillar. A bullet hits stone inches from his face. He whimpers. He hates that sound. He hates that it came from him. The Alpha shields him completely now, body curved around his like armor. He can feel the Alpha's heartbeat through his back. Slow. Controlled. Not afraid. Voices shout orders. Footsteps thunder. Bodyguards swarm. And still the Alpha doesn't let go. Not even when it's over. Not even when the attackers are dead or fleeing. Not even when they're finally alone in the ruined hall. The Alpha grips his jaw and forces his face up. Are you hurt? He shakes his head. Can't speak. The Alpha studies him like a damaged possession. Then lowers his forehead to his. A whisper. Terrifying. They touched what's mine. His stomach drops. Because the Alpha isn't angry. He's promising. Before we go any further, welcome to the BL Story Room. Subscribe so you don't miss the ending of this tragedy. Because what just happened? That was only the beginning. 3 days earlier, he is standing in his brother's suit. The sleeves are too long. The collar smells like someone else's cologne. His hands won't stop shaking. His father doesn't look at him. They're already seated, his father says, adjusting his cufflinks. Don't embarrass us. He swallows. My brother is gone. Just like that. No emotion. No panic. Just calculation. You'll take his place. The words land heavy in his chest. I'm not. You're Omega. He's Omega. Same blood. Same contract. His father finally turns. Eyes cold. This family doesn't get second chances. His mouth opens. Nothing comes out. He thinks about his brother's empty room. The phone left on the bed. The half-packed bag. He thinks about how he's always been the spare. Backup son. Replacement part. So he nods. That's how he ends up walking down a marble aisle toward the most feared Alpha in the city. Politicians. Crime bosses. Armed guards lining the walls. His legs feel hollow. The Alpha waits at the altar. Black suit. Expression carved from stone. Their eyes meet. The Alpha doesn't look surprised. He looks assessing. Like he already knew this would happen. The officiant speaks. He barely hears it. His pulse roars in his ears. When the Alpha takes his hand, his fingers lock instantly. Unyielding. Possessive. The Alpha leans in, voice quiet enough only he can hear. You're not the one I was promised. His throat tightens. But you'll do. Humiliation burns under his skin. The vows blur together. He signs his name with a hand that doesn't feel like his own. Just like that, he belongs to someone who didn't even want him. That night, the Alpha marks him. Not gently. Not tenderly. It's fast. Controlled. Necessary. He cries into silk sheets while the Alpha holds him down by the hips, teeth sinking into his neck. Claiming. Sealing. When it's over, the Alpha cleans him with quiet efficiency. Tucks him in. Doesn't kiss him goodnight. Just says, sleep. The estate is massive. Guards everywhere. Doors that lock from the outside. His phone doesn't work without permission. His meals are tested. His schedule is monitored. At first he thinks he's being punished. Then he realizes he's being protected. He's given rules. Curfews. The Alpha doesn't explain. Doesn't reassure. Just watches him with that same unreadable stare. They share meals in silence. Pass each other in hallways. Sometimes the Alpha's hand brushes his lower back. Sometimes he catches the Alpha staring at his throat. Every time they almost touch, someone interrupts. A call. A meeting. A guard entering the room. Push. Pull. He doesn't know what he's supposed to feel. Gratitude? Fear? He wakes up from nightmares shaking. Once, he wanders into the Alpha's room by mistake. The Alpha looks up from his desk, studies his tear-swollen eyes. Come here. He obeys without thinking. The Alpha pulls him between his knees, presses his face into a solid chest. His breath stutters. The Alpha's hand moves slowly through his hair. Twice. Then stops. Go back to bed, the Alpha says quietly. He leaves feeling empty and full at the same time. And then comes the gala. And then comes the sniper. And then comes the moment the Alpha shields him with his own body. That's when he realizes something terrifying. He isn't being guarded because he's important. He's being guarded because he's leverage. And somewhere out there, someone wants him badly enough to start a war. He doesn't know yet that his brother didn't run. He doesn't know yet why they really married him. He doesn't know yet what the Alpha has been hiding. But he's about to find out. Because that same night, back in the estate, the Alpha receives a call. And whatever he hears makes his face go completely blank. He turns slowly, looks straight at him, and says, "Pack a bag." His stomach drops. What? The Alpha's voice is ice. They found your brother. And the way he says it tells him, nothing will ever be the same again. Collateral. He doesn't sleep. He sits on the edge of the bed while guards move through the hallway outside like ghosts. Boots. Radios. Low voices. The Alpha told him to pack a bag. Just that. No explanation. No comfort. He folds clothes with shaking hands. Everything feels unreal. His brother. Alive? Dead? His chest keeps tightening like it's trying to collapse inward. He finally whispers to the empty room. Why didn't you run with me? His brother was always the brave one. Always the favorite. Always the one chosen first. A knock. Chirp. Final. The Alpha stands in the doorway. Black coat. Gun holstered at his hip. Jaw tight. Are you ready? He nods. The Alpha doesn't touch him. Doesn't guide him. Just turns and walks. He follows. The car ride is silent. City lights smear across tinted windows. He watches his reflection shake in the glass. He tries to speak 3 times. Fails all 3. Finally, is he okay? The Alpha keeps his eyes forward. They didn't kill him. Relief hits so hard it makes him dizzy. But they hurt him. The Alpha's fingers tighten on the steering wheel. They want something. His stomach sinks. What? The Alpha glances at him for half a second. Then back to the road. You. The word lands heavy. His throat dries. Me? Yes. Why would anyone want him? He's nobody. Just the replacement Omega. The Alpha doesn't elaborate. That's his way. They arrive at a private medical facility guarded by men with assault rifles. Inside, everything smells like antiseptic and fear. His brother is in a hospital bed. Bruised. Bandages around his ribs. Eyes hollow. The moment their gazes meet, his brother starts crying. Real sobs. Ugly ones. He rushes forward, hands trembling as he grips the bed rails. Why didn't you tell me? He whispers. Why didn't you take me with you? His brother looks away. I couldn't. Why? Silence. The Alpha stands near the door, watching everything. Not intervening. Just observing. His brother finally whispers. They told me I was expendable. His chest tightens. They said the Alpha didn't care which Omega he married. He swallows. They said you were already chosen. He freezes. What? His brother's eyes flick to the Alpha. Then back. They said you were the real problem. Cold crawls up his spine. The Alpha's voice cuts in. That's enough. His brother flinches. The Alpha steps closer. You're safe now. That's all that matters. The word feels fake. Back at the estate, the Alpha orders the guards doubled. Every entrance locked. Snipers on the roof. His phone is confiscated. He's escorted everywhere, even to the bathroom. He feels like glass wrapped in steel. That night he can't breathe. His heat is starting. Not full. Just enough to make his skin hypersensitive and his emotions unstable. He curls up in bed, shaking. The alpha enters without knocking. Takes one look at him. Sit up. He obeys. The alpha kneels in front of him. Presses 2 fingers under his chin. You're spiraling. His breath stutters. I don't understand what's happening. The alpha studies his face. For once, something human flickers in his eyes. They're using you to pressure me. Why me? The alpha doesn't answer right away. Instead, he slides a cool hand over the back of his neck. Right over the mating mark. His breath catches. The alpha's thumb presses there. Gentle. Dangerous. Because you saw something, the alpha says quietly. His heart stops. What? A murder. Years ago. You were a kid. He shakes his head. I don't remember. You will. The alpha's voice drops. They do. That's enough. His stomach twists. You knew this before you married me. Yes. His eyes burn. So you, what? Used me? The alpha doesn't deny it. He leans closer. So I could protect you. That's not protection, he whispers. That's trapping. The alpha cups his jaw. From possessive. You're alive. That's protection. His body betrays him. Leans into the touch. Hates himself for it. The alpha notices. His pupils darken. The alpha inhales slowly. Then pulls away. Get some rest. He grabs the alpha's wrist. Did you ever want my brother? The alpha freezes. The room feels too quiet. No. Then why marry him? I didn't. You were supposed to. The alpha meets his eyes. I planned for you. The words hit harder than any slap. You planned me? Yes. His chest feels hollow. You knew he'd run. The alpha doesn't blink. I made sure he could. Everything inside him fractures. So the wedding, the timing, the disappearance, none of it was accidental. His voice comes out broken. You chose me. The alpha steps closer again. Crowds his space. You were never the spare. His breath brushes his cheek. You were the risk. His knees feel weak. And now you're my responsibility. He pulls back. Turns toward the door. Leaves him sitting there shaking. He doesn't cry. He just stares at the wall until dawn. Because if the alpha planned all of this, if the marriage was never forced, then the most terrifying possibility isn't that he was sold. It's that he was hunted. Later that morning, alarms start screaming through the estate. Guards shout. Doors slam. The alpha storms into his room. Grabs his arm. We have to move. Now. What happened? The alpha doesn't answer. He drags him toward the panic room. His heart is pounding. They reach the reinforced door. The alpha shoves him inside. Then pauses. Looks at him with something that almost resembles regret. And says, They've breached the perimeter. Chapter 3, Marked for War. The panic room seals with a hydraulic hiss. Steel slides into place. Locks engage. The sound echoes in his bones. He stumbles back a step, heart hammering so hard it hurts. The alpha stands in front of him, already pulling weapons from hidden compartments in the wall. Handgun. Extra magazine. Methodical. Like this is just another Tuesday. His throat tightens. Are they inside? Not yet. The alpha checks the surveillance screens. Multiple camera feeds flash across the wall. Men moving through outer corridors. Gunfire. Bodies. Blood streaking marble floors he walked across yesterday. His hands curl into fists. He can't breathe. They're not here for territory, the alpha says flatly. They're here for you. His knees nearly buckle. For me. Yes. His voice cracks. I don't understand. The alpha steps closer. Grips his shoulders. You don't have to understand. You just have to stay alive. His eyes burn. You made me your shield. The alpha doesn't argue. I made you untouchable. That's not the same thing. The alpha's jaw tightens. He looks away for half a second. Then back. Listen to me. His tone changes. Lower. Private. They will try to scare you. They will tell you things. They will say I used you. His chest tightens. Didn't you? The alpha leans in until their foreheads almost touch. I chose you. His breath brushes his lips. His pulse stutters. And I will burn this city before I let them take you. His heat spikes violently. His skin feels too tight. Too sensitive. He hates himself for how his body reacts to that promise. Gunshots explode closer. The Alpha curses under his breath. He grabs his wrist. Pulls him into a hidden exit tunnel behind the panic room. Cold concrete. Emergency lights. The Alpha pushes him forward. Run when I tell you. I don't want to leave you. The Alpha stops walking. Turns. Grips his face with both hands. Hard enough to hurt. You don't get brave right now. His lips tremble. You'll die. The Alpha's eyes darken. So will anyone who touches you. They move. Guards fall back around them. Smoke fills the corridor. Someone screams. He trips. The Alpha catches him without slowing. Hauls him up. Keeps moving. They reach a service elevator. The Alpha shoves him inside. Punches the button. Just before the doors close, a masked man appears at the end of the hall. Gun raised. The Alpha steps in front of him instantly. The Alpha grunts. Blood splatters the elevator wall. No. The doors slam shut. His scream echoes inside the metal box. The elevator drops. His hands are shaking uncontrollably. He stares at the Alpha's shoulder. Red soaking through black fabric. You're shot. The Alpha presses a hand over the wound. Not deep. You're bleeding. I've had worse. He swallows hard. He reaches out without thinking. Touches the Alpha's arm. The Alpha stills. Looks down at their contact. Then up at his face. Something fragile flashes between them. Gone in a second. The elevator opens into an underground garage. A car waits. Engine already running. The Alpha pushes him into the back seat. Slides in beside him. They peel out just as explosions shake the building behind them. He curls inward, shaking. The Alpha pulls him against his chest. Wraps one arm around him. Protective. He buries his face into the Alpha's coat. Breath hitching. For a moment he forgets everything. Just warmth. Heartbeat. The Alpha's hand moves slowly up and down his spine. Twice. Then stills. You're going into heat, the Alpha murmurs. His cheeks burn. I know. Can you hold it? I don't know. The Alpha exhales slowly. His jaw clenches. They don't speak again until they reach a secondary safe house. Smaller. Hidden. Remote. Inside, medics rush the Alpha. Bandage his shoulder. Clean blood from his skin. He watches from the couch, wrapped in a blanket he doesn't remember getting. His brother's words echo in his head. They said you were already chosen. Later, when everyone leaves the room, the Alpha sits across from him. Tired. Wounded. Still terrifying. He gathers courage that feels fake. You planned this, he says quietly. The Alpha meets his eyes. Yes. You knew they'd come for me. Yes. You married me because I was leverage. The Alpha doesn't correct him. His voice drops. I married you because you were already marked. His heart stutters. Marked. The Alpha leans forward. Elijah. His real name sounds strange in the Alpha's mouth. They didn't start hunting you after the wedding. His stomach sinks. They started years ago. Cold creeps through his veins. What do you mean? The Alpha's gaze hardens. You weren't a witness. His breath catches. You were the target. Silence stretches. His hands begin to shake again. They killed your parents because of what you carry. His vision blurs. What do I carry? The Alpha looks at him like he's about to destroy him. Then says, a biometric memory implant. His world tilts. You don't remember because they suppressed it. His chest caves inward. You're a walking hard drive. His voice barely exists. For what? The Alpha swallows. For a list of every syndicate leader in this country. His ears ring. His stomach drops. The Alpha leans closer. And I was hired to retrieve you. His breath shatters. You were hired? Yes. His lips tremble. So everything. The Alpha's voice is quiet. I was supposed to extract you. His eyes soften just enough to hurt. Then I met you. His chest feels like it's being crushed. Because suddenly, the marriage, the protection, the obsession, it wasn't romance. It was a mission. And somewhere between contracts and bloodshed, the alpha stopped seeing him as cargo. He stares at the man he married, at the man who saved him, at the man who sold him, and whispers, "So, was any of it real?" The alpha opens his mouth, then freezes. His phone buzzes. He looks at the screen. His expression drains. Slowly, dangerously, he looks back at him. They have your brother again. Chapter 4, If I Let You Go. He laughs. It slips out of him before he can stop it. So, broken. Wrong. They just got him back, he says. That's not possible. The alpha doesn't blink. They planned it. His stomach twists. Planned what? All of it. The alpha stands. Starts pacing. Hand running through his hair. They wanted to confirm your value. Force me to show my hand. His voice cracks. So my brother is bait. Yes. And I'm what? The alpha stops in front of him. Looks down. You're the prize. His throat tightens until breathing hurts. He wraps the blanket tighter around himself. I don't want to be a prize. The alpha crouches in front of him. Grips his knees. From grounding. You don't get to choose this. His eyes burn. You never let me choose anything. The alpha's jaw flexes. You think I wanted this? He laughs again. Sharper this time. You married me. You marked me. You turned me into a target. The alpha's voice drops. I kept you alive. That's not love. Silence stretches between them. The alpha finally says, I never said it was. That hurts more than if he'd lied. They move him again. Another location. Another armored vehicle. Another set of walls. He doesn't cry anymore. He feels hollow. His heat spikes hard in the back seat. Sweat beads along his hairline. His skin feels too tight. He presses his thighs together. The alpha notices immediately. Don't fight it. I don't want you near me. The alpha looks away. Because he doesn't trust himself. They reach a warehouse converted into a temporary command center. Maps on the walls. Screens everywhere. Men barking orders. The alpha gives rapid instructions. He's guided into a small side room. A cot. Water. Medical supplies. A guard outside the door. He sits on the edge of the cot, trembling. His brother's face won't leave his mind. He whispers into his hands, I'm sorry. For surviving. For being chosen. For ruining everything. The door opens. The alpha steps inside. Closes it behind him. He doesn't sit. Just stands there. Watching. His pheromones hit Elijah hard. Heat rushes through him. His breath stutters. Don't, Elijah says weakly. The alpha doesn't move closer. I won't touch you unless you ask. Elijah looks up. Do you regret it? The alpha's brows draw together. Regret what? Choosing me. The alpha exhales slowly. No. The certainty in his voice is brutal. Elijah's chest tightens. Then why does it feel like I'm just another asset? The alpha finally steps forward. Stops inches away. You were an assignment. Elijah flinches. The alpha continues. You became a liability. His hands shake. And now? The alpha's voice drops. Now you're my problem. Not mine. Not beloved. Problem. Elijah laughs softly. That's romantic. The alpha lifts a hand. Hesitates. Then cups Elijah's cheek. Skin to skin. Elijah inhales sharply. His body leans into it despite himself. The alpha's thumb brushes under his eye. Wipes away wetness he didn't realize was there. You don't understand what you did to me, the alpha murmurs. Elijah's lips tremble. What? The alpha rests his forehead against Elijah's. Closes his eyes. You made me compromise. The alpha pulls back. Straightens. Walls snapping back into place. They sent a video. Elijah freezes. Of my brother? Yes. The alpha hands him the phone. His hands are shaking so badly he almost drops it. The video loads. His brother is tied to a chair. Face swollen. lips split. Eyes terrified. A voice off camera speaks. You have 12 hours. His brother sobs his name. Elijah, please. The video cuts. Elijah drops the phone. His body folds inward. A sound tears out of him. Bruh. Animal. He curls forward, clutching his stomach. The alpha grabs him before he hits the floor. Holds him tight. Elijah claws at his shirt. Please, Elijah sobs. Please don't let them kill him. The alpha presses Elijah's face into his shoulder. His voice is rough. I won't. Elijah's heat crashes fully. His body arches. He gasps. His pheromones flood the room. The alpha stiffens. He pulls Elijah back just enough to look at him. You're in heat. I know. Elijah's eyes are glassy. I don't care. The alpha swears under his breath. This is not the time. Elijah grips his coat. Then don't touch me. The alpha goes still. Then releases him. Steps back. Pain flickers across his face before it disappears. Guards knock. Information updates. Locations. Possible routes. The alpha turns toward the door. Elijah grabs his sleeve. Don't leave. The alpha pauses. Looks down at Elijah's hand on his coat. Slowly pries his fingers away. I have to. Elijah's voice breaks. Promise you'll come back. The alpha hesitates. Just a fraction. Then says, if I don't. He stops himself. Shakes his head. I'm getting your brother. He opens the door. Before stepping out, he looks back. His eyes soften. Just barely. You don't get to die on me. Then he's gone. Elijah sinks onto the cot. Alone. In heat. Listening to distant gunfire. Knowing the man he married is walking into hell for his brother. For him. For a mission that should have ended years ago. He presses his face into the blanket. And realizes something too late. If the alpha doesn't come back, he won't survive this. Chapter 5. The choice he never gave me. The gunfire stops around 3:17 a.m. He knows the exact time because he's been staring at the clock on the wall for hours. Heat soaked through him. Sweat cooling on his skin. Sheets twisted in his fists. Silence is worse than bullets. Silence means it's over. The door bursts open. He jerks upright. The alpha stands there. Covered in blood. Not all of it his. Their eyes lock. For half a second, neither moves. Then Elijah slides off the cot and runs to him. He doesn't think. He doesn't hesitate. He crashes into the alpha's chest. Breath breaking. You're alive. The alpha's arms come around him instantly. Tight. Almost crushing. I told you. Elijah inhales sharply. The alpha smells like smoke and iron and something dangerously intoxicating. Is he? He's alive. Relief hits so hard his legs give out. The alpha catches him. Lifts him like he weighs nothing. Carries him back to the cot. Sets him down carefully. The room feels smaller now. The alpha kneels between his knees. Blood on his collar. A cut across his cheek. Elijah reaches up without thinking. Thumb brushing the wound. The alpha inhales sharply. Skin to skin. Electric. You're shaking, the alpha murmurs. So are you. The alpha doesn't deny it. Elijah's heat pulses again. So, dangerous. The alpha notices. Of course he does. He leans closer. Forehead brushing Elijah's temple. His voice low. You need me. It isn't a question. Elijah's fingers tighten in the alpha's shirt. Yes. The word slips out before pride can stop it. The alpha stills. His control fractures. He lowers his mouth to Elijah's throat. Not biting. Not claiming. Just hovering. Waiting. Elijah tilts his head back. Breath hitching. This is what he's been craving. Not the dominance. Not the possession. Just this. Being wanted. The alpha's hand slides slowly up his side. Intentional. Elijah's heart pounds. Tell me, Elijah whispers. Tell you what? That it wasn't just a mission. The alpha's jaw tightens. His hand stills. Elijah. Say it. The alpha pulls back slightly. Looks at him. Something stormy in his eyes. I chose you, the alpha says. That's not the same thing. Silence. I loved you before I admitted it. The words hit like a gunshot. Elijah's breath catches. Before. The alpha nods once. I was supposed to extract you. Deliver you. Walk away. His stomach twists. But I didn't. Elijah searches his face. Why? The alpha exhales slowly. Because you looked at me like I wasn't a monster. His chest cracks open. And now? The alpha's expression darkens. Now I am one. The room feels colder. What did you do? The alpha doesn't answer immediately. That's when Elijah sees it. The hesitation. The guilt. What did you do? He repeats, voice smaller. The alpha stands slowly. Walks to the table. Picks up a tablet. Hands it to him. Elijah's fingers tremble as he takes it. The screen shows a warehouse. Bodies. And then he sees him. His brother. On his knees. Alive. Unharmed. Next to him. Another man. Older. Handcuffed. Bruised. Elijah squints. Recognition punches the air from his lungs. That's our father's old partner. The alpha's voice is flat. He's the one who ordered your parents' deaths. His ears ring. What? They weren't random casualties. The world tilts. They were cleaning up after a deal went wrong. Elijah shakes his head. No. The alpha's voice drops. He implanted the data in you. Without consent. His stomach turns violently. You were insurance. The tablet slips in his hands. You're lying. The alpha steps closer. I executed him tonight. Everything stops. The air. The sound. His pulse. What? He confirmed it before he died. Elijah's hands go cold. You killed him. Yes. You didn't tell me. I didn't need your permission. The words slice deeper than anything else. You took my choice. The alpha's jaw tightens. He killed your parents. That was my choice. The room spins. He backs away. You don't get to decide what justice looks like for me. The alpha's eyes harden. I decide what keeps you safe. I'm not your weapon. You are my responsibility. I never asked for that. Their voices echo off concrete walls. The push-pull snaps. Elijah's chest heaves. You don't love me, he says softly. You control me. The alpha's face goes still. Dangerously still. You think I did all this for control? Yes. The alpha steps closer. Too close. You are the only thing I've ever chosen without strategy. Elijah's voice shakes. Then prove it. Silence stretches. Thick, heavy. Let me go. The alpha doesn't move. Let me walk out that door. The words hang between them. The test. A fracture point. If the alpha truly loves him, he'll open the door. If he doesn't, then everything was possession. The alpha's breathing changes. Slow. Measured. His eyes darken. He reaches behind him and locks the door. Elijah's heart shatters quietly. The alpha's voice is calm. You're not leaving. Chapter 6, You Were Never Free. The lock clicks. So, final. Elijah stares at the door like it might open if he just believes hard enough. It doesn't. His chest tightens. You locked me in. The alpha doesn't answer right away. He stands between Elijah and the exit. Broad shoulders. Blood-stained collar. Eyes darker than Elijah has ever seen them. You're not leaving, the alpha repeats. Elijah laughs weakly. So that's it. The alpha's jaw flexes. That's it. Elijah's hands curl into fists. I asked you for one thing. The alpha steps closer. You asked me to let you walk into a kill zone. Elijah backs away. Hits the wall. His pulse roars in his ears. You don't get to cage me just because you're scared. The alpha stops inches from him. I'm not scared. Elijah lifts his chin. Yes. You are. Silence. Then the alpha says quietly, I've already buried too many people. Elijah's throat tightens. That doesn't give you ownership of my life. The alpha's eyes flick to Elijah's neck. To the mating mark. Possessive. You stopped being just your life the moment I marked you. The words slice through him. Cold. Clinical. His heat flares violently. Tears blur his vision. So I really am just yours. The alpha reaches out. Elijah slaps his hand away. Don't. The alpha freezes. Something dangerous shifts in his expression. You're in heat. I don't care. You're shaking. I don't care. Elijah pushes past him. The alpha catches him by the wrist. Spins him back. Pins him against the wall. The impact knocks the breath from his lungs. The alpha cages him in. Hands on either side of his head. You don't get to run. Elijah's voice breaks. You don't get to decide that. The alpha leans closer. Their noses almost touch. You think I crossed this many lines to lose you now? Elijah swallows. I never belonged to you. The alpha's eyes burn. You belong to death. The alpha presses his forehead to Elijah's. Voice raw. I took you from it. Elijah's chest heaves. You took everything. The alpha closes his eyes. Just for a second. When he opens them, something is gone. I did what I had to. Elijah whispers. You killed my father's partner without asking me. He killed your parents. That was my grief. The alpha grips Elijah's jaw. Not painfully. Not gently. Your grief would have gotten you killed. Elijah's tears spill. I didn't want this life. The alpha exhales slowly. You were born into it. Elijah laughs through sobs. So that's it. His voice cracks. You just rewrite my fate whenever it's inconvenient? The alpha doesn't answer. That's the answer. Elijah feels something inside him finally snap. He stops crying. Stops shaking. His voice comes out quiet. Flat. You told me you chose me. The alpha nods once. Yes. You told me you loved me. Yes. Elijah swallows. Then why does it feel like I'm just another territory you claimed? The alpha's gaze softens. Just a fraction. He brushes Elijah's cheek with his thumb. You confuse love with permission. Elijah closes his eyes. That hurts worse than everything else. The alpha murmurs. I don't ask for permission. Elijah opens his eyes. Looks at the man who burned cities for him. The man who murdered for him. The man who locked him in a room to keep him alive. He sees it now. Not romance. Not devotion. Control wrapped in protection. Possession disguised as sacrifice. He presses his palm against the alpha's chest. Feels the steady heartbeat. You didn't save me, Elijah whispers. You replaced one cage with another. The alpha stiffens. You're alive. Elijah nods. Yes. His voice trembles. But I don't belong to myself anymore. The alpha leans down. Presses his lips to Elijah's forehead. A soft, devastating gesture. You belong with me. Elijah pulls away. Steps back. His hands shake. I wanted you to love me. The alpha watches him carefully. I do. Elijah's eyes fill again. I wanted you to choose me even when it was hard. The alpha's voice is steady. I did. Elijah's lips tremble. I wanted you to let me go. Silence. The alpha doesn't move. Doesn't unlock the door. Doesn't soften. Elijah nods slowly. Understanding settles in. Heavy. Permanent. He straightens his spine. Wipes his face. Looks the alpha dead in the eyes. You didn't marry me. The alpha tilts his head. You captured me. The alpha's jaw tightens. Elijah walks past him. Back to the cot. Sits down. Wraps his arms around himself. He feels empty. The alpha stays where he is. Watching. Guarding. Owning. Minutes pass. Then Elijah speaks again. Quiet. Broken. If you ever wonder when I stopped loving you. The alpha turns. Elijah doesn't look at him. It was when you decided my freedom was optional. The alpha takes a step forward. Elijah. Elijah finally looks up. Eyes hollow. I would have stayed. The alpha freezes. Elijah's voice shatters. You didn't have to lock the door. Silence swallows the room. The alpha stands there, realizing too late. And Elijah leans back against the wall. Closes his eyes. Because something inside him has died quietly. And he knows, whatever comes next will not be love. It will be survival.